Afternoon. How y'all doing? It's Friday, September 12th, about 1:30 p.m. Taking a break. Doing stuff outside. Trying not to overdo the ticker. Um, I walking around my back property, my junkyard, as my neighbor tried to call it. It's not that bad. It's neat, but trying to find stuff that I could easily post. Um, I had an old ARE utility topper for a long bed Ranger, 7-foot bed Ford Ranger. Uh, that I was going to use long ago to start my own pest control business. Because when you're in pest control, you're a pest control technician. You're a certified technician. You're licensed, but you're not. You have to work in the field for, I think it's 3 to 5 years. Might be 5 years. I'm not sure. I think it's 5 years. You work under the certification and license of your service manager. At least that's the way they did it with Terminex when I was there. And your service manager had what's called a certified operator's license, where he was certified to basically run a pest control business. He could purchase all the chemicals. He could attain all the other licenses necessary to have a pest control business. And once you had your certified operators, if you so chose, you could start your own pest control business. And my plan was to get my certified operators, work for Terminex for, maybe 5-10 years. And then, in that time, gather everything I would need to do it entirely myself. And I wasn't even going to stiff Terminex. I was going to, of course I was going to get all of the knowledge and experience they could give me. But I was even planning on going and getting a license for, trapping wildlife and whatnot. And because Terminex didn't do that, at least not when I was there. They contracted out. And even after I left, I was going to, contract with them to handle wildlife, I was going to go for it all. I was going to get set up to do everything from raccoons and armadillos to alligators. And that was the plan. It did not come to fruition, obviously. We drove, when I was there, we drove 2012 F-150s. That's what my service truck was. And I figured for me just starting out, I wouldn't need all that. What I was going to do is I was going to get an older long bed Ranger, because they came with the 6-foot short bed and a 7-foot long bed. I'm going to get an older long bed Ranger with a super cab, extended cab. In the old days they called them super cabs. And I was going to keep my non-toxic gear inside the cab in the back area, cargo, technically the back seat, because it make it the cargo hold. And then all of my chemicals and toxics and chemical related gear would be stored in the bed. And I got this nice little picked up this nice little utility topper. I might do a video of it this weekend, just something different. One side has tool compartment, one side has in-bed access, and it's got you would take the tailgate off the truck for this topper, and it's got a back plate that comes down to the bed of the truck, and like a little man door that you can actually get into the bed of the truck. And I was going to do that and start my own pest control business, because I mean, it's Florida. Pest control will always be a booming business. It doesn't matter, doesn't matter what you do to keep the bugs out, to keep pests away. They will always be. There are probably more bugs in Florida. There's probably more bugs on my 2-acre property than there are human beings in the whole state. Not going anywhere. Always be a lucrative business. So I picked up this little utility topper. I got it down in Palm Coast, which is like 25 minutes south of me. And at the time I was driving my my little 85 Ranger. Dearly love that truck. Wish I could afford to get it going again, but it's a short bed, 6-foot bed. So this topper stuck out, another foot after the end of the bed. And when I first bought it, I was thinking, well, maybe I could modify the topper, and build like a little foot that I could attach to the bed and reach out to the back of the topper and use my 85 Ranger. I didn't want to do that. I wanted it to look more professional. So I started getting into the market for preferably an 80s era Ford Ranger with the long bed. They didn't start doing the Super Cab Rangers till 86. And by 86 they were all fuel injected. Mine's carbureted, but I could deal with that. My goal was to find like an 86 to 89. I would have gone up to like 92 or 93, because those are still, simplistic. 94 up, they start getting a lot more complicated. They get into what I call the unreasonable area of complication that cars did in the mid-90s. So my goal was to find like an 86 to 92, preferably 86 to 89, but I would have gone up to 92. Extended cab Ford Ranger that had a long bed, and preferably 4-wheel drive. You never know what kind of areas you got to go back into. And turn it into a service truck, and it was going to be something like Old-Fashioned Joe's Pest Control. Old-Fashioned Joe has been a moniker of mine for much longer than YouTube, because I always have been an old-fashioned kind of guy. But it did not happen. It was not to be. I got sick, and everything started going downhill from there. Never bought the Ranger that I wanted. But I had the topper, man. I had it cleaned up, and the only thing I needed to do to it was replace the gas shocks that hold up the wing doors and replace the locks, because I didn't get keys to